Hey everybody, I'm Tim Ward and welcome back to Garden Sense. Well, summer is in full swing right now. Things are really starting to heat up and I'm getting a lot of emails from you asking about what's going on with your lawn. So we're going to address a couple of those questions today, along with a few questions people have about their plants. So buckle up everybody, let's jump right in. The first question is from Beverly. Hi Tim, I need help with a lawn problem. I have fertilized twice this season with turf truss and I have applied Kickstart. This section of my lawn seems to be suffering. Is it a fungus? I was going to try and put down some RTF, but maybe I should address this area with something else. Rest of the lawn is fine. So I'm not so sure that this is actually a lawn disease. Now, if it were, I would tell you without a doubt that we recommend bio-advanced fungus control. It's just simply a great product and it clears up a number of different lawn diseases. But like I said, I'm not convinced that's what's going on here. Look, we had a spring where we went through essentially a drought where we weren't getting any significant rainfall for 6, 7, 8 weeks, depending on where you are. In addition, we then kind of swung to a rainy period and now we're getting into some really high heat. I think this just might be a section of your lawn where the soil is maybe just not as good as the rest of your lawn, and so the grass is struggling. So there's two things, honestly, that I'd recommend doing. First is as I try and dethatch, I'd get a really stiff lawn rake or actually go out and get a dethatching rake and rake that whole area and try to break up and, more importantly, pull up any of that thatch buildup that may be there. The other thing you might want to consider is aerating. Now, I know aeration can be expensive, so this might not be something that you want to do for your whole lawn because, as you said, the rest of your lawn is fine. But that area looks compacted in the picture, and you can always tell that because it looks dry, the ground can start to crack a little bit, and obviously the grass isn't going to grow very well there. So I think you've got more of a soil issue than anything. So look, try and rake up any thatch in the area. Maybe do some small aeration there if you can, go ahead and get your hands on an aeration tool. Or like I said, even getting a pickaxe or some type of a steel rake where you can really rake up that area to loosen the soil is what you're going to want to do. And I would absolutely consider putting down Baronbrook RTF. It's a great product. The Turfsaver is the only grass seed that we sell. It works really well, as you already know. So again, I appreciate that. Based on the fact that the rest of your lawn is looking really well, that you thought maybe it was a disease. I don't think that's the case. I think the soil is compacted, there's probably some thatch buildup, and I do think putting down some Baronbrook Turfsaver RTF is definitely the way to go. The next question is from Tom. Tim, what is the recommended amount of Baronbrook tall fescue seed per 10,000 square feet of lawn for overseeding? So when it comes to Baronbrook Turfsaver RTF seed, the application rate is going to be 8 to 10 pounds of seed per 1,000 square feet. So if you've got a 10,000 square foot lawn you're covering, you're looking for anywhere between 80 to 100 pounds of grass seed. Now, because you're just overseeding, I would probably err a little bit more on the low side. So I think that 80 pounds is probably going to be enough. But again, whatever you decide, 80 to 100 pounds is actually the application rate. And obviously Baronbrook Turfsaver RTF is available over at rosensonline.com. The third question is from Cindy. Tim, my Crepe Myrtle has powdery mildew. I keep spraying with neem oil. What else can I do? So I'm a huge fan of neem oil. I've talked about it a lot here on this program, and I personally use it quite a bit. However, it's a little bit better at preventing diseases and preventing insects than it is from clearing it up once you have either an insect infestation or an outbreak of disease. So again, as much as I love neem oil and the fact that it's a natural product, Sometimes you just need to go towards something a little bit stronger. And in this case, I would actually recommend you use Bio-Advanced 3-in-1. Again, this is a popular product. We sell a lot of it, and I talk a lot about it on this program because it's great for insects, it's great for diseases, and it's great for mites. So again, I know we're just talking about powdery mildew. This will absolutely help your crepe myrtles, and obviously the Bio-Advanced 3-in-1 can be found right over at rosensonline.com. The next question is from James. Howdy, Tim. I've been fighting a campaign against nutsedge over the years with a varying degree of success. The weeds on the left look like nutsedge. On the right, not so much. Please advise. All right, so it looks like you've got a couple of things going on. First of all, I agree with you that in the upper left-hand corner of that picture, that does look a lot like nutsedge. And so what I would actually recommend is Gordon's Sedge Stop. Comes in a 2-pound shaker can, and what I love about it is it's small, it's compact, and it allows you to walk over to the little clusters of where that nutsedge is growing, sprinkle out what you need, cap it, and move on. However, for some of those other weeds, it's kind of hard because of the distance the picture was taken at. I can't exactly tell what it is, but they're obviously grassy weeds. So I would actually recommend a 2-pronged approach when it comes to them. The first thing I would do is I would try to kill those grassy weeds with Weed Beater Complete. Now this is a granular product, and we sell it right over at rosensonline.com. We sell a lot of it because it's really effective. What that's going to do is it's going to kill any of those grassy weeds as well as a number of broadleaf weeds that are in the area that you put it down on. And what we're then going to want to do is once those die off, we want to try and prevent them from coming back. And so I would then start thinking about getting down an application of Dimension. Now, when do you put down Dimension? Well, it kind of depends on what your plans are for the fall. So if you're going to be overseeding, don't worry about Dimension until sometime next spring. And I'm talking end of March to mid-April. That's when you really want to put down Dimension. But if you're not overseeding, then I would strongly consider putting down Dimension in mid-September. Again, we want to try and catch some of those grassy weeds from germinating. And obviously, because Dimension creates that chemical barrier on the soil surface, it's going to prevent the germination. It's also going to prevent those weeds from breaking through the soil surface next year. So, again, for the nutsedge, Gordon's Sedge Stop, but for the rest of those grassy weeds, I would try Weed Beater Complete now to go ahead and kill the weeds that are there, and then look ahead of getting down some Dimension, either mid-September, or you're going to want to look ahead to next spring in, again, late March to mid-April if you're going to be overseeding with grass. The last question is from Ron. Tim, can you suggest a treatment for my ailing tomatoes? They are about 4 feet tall and robust. Recently, they developed yellow leaves on the lower branches and are dying off. Can you help? So without a picture, I can't tell you exactly what's going on, but I've grown a lot of tomatoes in my lifetime, and I can tell you that if I were a betting man, I would say that this is simply a natural process of the leaves that are closest to the ground dying off because they're simply not getting enough sunlight. It is incredibly common for plants, especially vegetables and fruit plants, where they grow tall enough and the fruit and the leaves that are produced on the top half of the plant essentially block the sun from getting to the lower part of the plant. And those leaves, those branches, those stems die off. I'll be perfectly honest with you, for years, we have always cut off the bottom third of any leaves and any little stems that are growing on our tomato plants for that very reason. First of all, if the branch or the stem is not flowering and not producing fruit and it's not getting sun, all it's doing is sapping energy from the plant. And so pruning it off is the best thing to do for the long-term health of the plant. And so in your case with your tomatoes, this is natural. Those leaves are probably just not getting enough sunlight, and so they're starting to wilt and die off. If the rest of the fruit looks okay and the rest of the leaves towards the upper half to upper third of the plant look okay, then that's exactly what it is. You don't have anything to worry about. So I would go in there with some pruning shears, cut off whatever little branches, stems, and leaves that are on the lower third of the plant, and you should be totally fine. All right, folks, just a couple final thoughts. As I mentioned last week, we are really starting to get into those warm summer months of July, and August is right around the corner. So this is the time that we really recommend you put down Kickstart at least twice a month. So I would put down 2 applications in July, I would put down 2 applications in August. And I'm not just talking about your lawn, but also your veggie gardens, your flowers, your ornamental trees, your shrubs. Kickstart can work on all of them. And with this intense heat that we're really starting to experience and we're going to be experiencing for the next 2 months, 2 applications per month of Kickstart is definitely the way you want to go. Again, if you have not fertilized your lawn yet, this is time to do it. You're really entering into a critical stage where your grass needs to be fed if it's going to survive these hot months. So make sure you head over to rosesonline.com and pick up a couple of bags of Turf Trust fertilizers, the best fertilizer on the market. I talk about it here virtually every episode simply because of how great it is. Folks, thanks so much for spending a lot of time with us. We really appreciate it. Remember, if you have questions, please send an email directly to me, tim@rosensonline.com. We always love to get feedback from you, questions from you. So if you want us to put your question here on the air, or you just have an issue that you need resolved quickly, make sure you send me an email directly. Folks, I hope you have a great rest of the week. God bless.